Hello everyone! Today we are starting with simple hatching exercise. Hatching teaches you how to build value step by step from light to dark. Also with hatching you learn precision, rhythm and the ability to create smooth transition and sense of light and volume. First, draw a few horizontal guidelines. This will mark the area for our hatching. Now begin your first layer of hatching. Start on the left and move to the right. Try to keep all the lines at the same angle with the same pressure and the same rhythm. Next we add the second layer. This time I start from the right and move to the left, but I leave a little empty space on the right side. I don't begin the stroke right at the edge. This helped us gradually build lighter area on the right. If your hatching goes outside the guideline, don't worry, you can erase it later. After that, start the next layer and stop even earlier than in the previous one. You can slightly change the angle of your hatching, but keep the same pressure and draw each line fully until you reach the place where it should end. Continue repeating this pattern. Each new row of hatching ends a bit earlier than previous layer. Still, try to keep your lines inside the middle of the guide. This helps you develop precision and control. Repeat this process as many times as you need. Step by step you will create beautiful gradient, darker tone on the left and lighter tone on the right. This is how we build smooth value transition with simple hatching. And don't forget, your arm should stay relaxed and hold your pencil as if it's a tiny bird. Please don't kill it, be gentle. Now let's make a gradient using sectors. I add one more horizontal line and divide it on several sections. The third one, the one I'm marking now, will be the darkest area. The sections on both sides will stay lighter and the rightmost sector will be the lightest. We repeat the same operation as before. First, shade the entire line from left to right in one even tone, the same pressure, the same angle and the same rhythm. I add some mark to understand where the next sector will be. Now we're beginning to build the gradient. Each new layer starts from the next sector to the right. So second layer begins in the second sector from the right and continues all the way to the left. The next layer begins in the third sector and so on, until eventually we are shading only the third sector, which becomes the darkest. I even shaded this gradient with horizontal sections, almost like horizontal blocks, but I still tried to keep the tone consistent. After a few iterations, you'll also need to gradually stop shading the sectors on the left side. So pay attention to the moment when your layers naturally reach to the point where the left sector should stay lighter. You can also create your sector gradient with the darkest part in the middle, not in the third sector, but right in the center. In this case, the logic of layer changes slightly. When the darker sector in the middle, each new layer should start one sector closer to the center and also finish one sector earlier on the opposite side. So every time you shift the hatching by one sector, you shade one sector less. I also add a horizontal hatching line at the edge of each sector. This strengthens the boundaries and makes the transition clearer. Now let's move to the next hatching exercise. Here I used my pen and created small curly circles. tiny loops connected together, almost like spirals. We repeated the same idea. First, cover the entire line with one even tone using similar size loops and the same pressure. At the end of the line, I made the circles a little larger and spaced them farther apart to give the drawing more air and keep the right side lighter. Then we build the gradient again by adding several layers. This time we can make the circles a little smaller as we go. This naturally makes the value darker. While I was shading with the curled circles, I noticed that my earlier sector gradient wasn't contrast enough. This happens often, so I'm taking my pencil and gently fixing that part. It's completely normal. You can always go back and refine your drawing. So for each new layer, reduce size of circles slightly and begin the shading closer to the left side, leaving more empty space on the right. So for each new layer, reduce the size of the circle slightly and begin the shading closer to the left side, leaving more empty space on the right. This makes the right side lighter and the left side darker, creating a smooth transition. To check how smooth and beautiful your gradient is, try squinting your eyes. When your vision softens, it becomes easier to see whether the value transitions evenly. You can also stand up and step back a couple of steps to look from a distance. This is a very helpful habit. Stepping away, refresh your eyes, and you see your work much more clearly. For the last line of gradient, I'll use cross-hatching. Small lines that intersect almost at right angles. With these crosses, I'll fill the entire line, following the same gradient scheme we used with the circles and the first pencil gradient. Layer by layer, finishing each stroke a bit earlier, we build a smooth transition from dark to light. Also in this gradient, we can change distance between cross-hatchings and the size of cross-hatchings. Please repeat all operations we did earlier to finish this line. Thank you for your consideration.